Good morning, everybody. We are ready to continue on in our study of the planets. Today, we are going to do an in-depth study on Uranus and Neptune, the last two planets. We are here coming from the sun. We have already, oh, you can't see me way over there. Well, anyway, we have already learned Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars. Those are the four rocky inner planets. And then there is an asteroid belt that separates the rocky inner planets from the gas giants. We have learned about Jupiter. We have learned about Saturn. And today we are going to finish up with Uranus and Neptune, the last two of the gas giant planets. And they are very far away from the sun. Let's see if we can remember anything about what we studied yesterday. The largest planet in our solar system. Do you remember which one that was? It was Jupiter. You are right about that. And do you remember what Jupiter's atmosphere, what did it mainly consist of? The atmosphere of Jupiter. That, remember, atmosphere is the gas that surrounds a planet. What was the atmosphere of Jupiter? Do you remember? Mostly hydrogen and helium. That is correct. Mostly hydrogen and helium. And the oval-shaped feature on Jupiter, what was this called? We're pretty far away from these planets, aren't we? Let's move on in a bit. This oval feature was called the Great Red Spot. The Great Red Spot. That doesn't sound right. Is that right? It is. It's called the Great Red Spot. I had to look that up because that sounded weird to me. Now, Saturn is the other planet that we talked about. What is Saturn most known for? What is it most known for? Yeah, the rings around Saturn. That is what it is most known for. Its atmosphere is also made up of hydrogen and helium. And what is unique about Saturn is that it is lighter than water. So if you were able to put it into a big bathtub, it would actually float. It is lighter than water. Okay, let's go ahead and continue on. We are going to be in our Delta Reader, and we will be on page 12. Okay, the planet that we're going to learn about is Uranus. That is the first planet that we're going to talk about today, and it is the seventh planet from the sun. Uranus was discovered in 1781. It was the first planet to be discovered with a telescope. Uranus's axis is very tilted, so the planet rotates almost on its side. Methane gas in Uranus's atmosphere makes the planet look bluish green. Uranus has at least 13 rings. The space probe Voyager 2 helped us discover 11 of Uranus's moons when it flew by Uranus in 1986. Here it is. Now, my planet looks mostly blue, but I think that it's more of a greenish blue or bluish green. Uranus was named after the Greek god of the sky. It is the seventh planet from the sun. It was the first planet discovered by telescope, and it has 27 moons. 27 moons. At least 27. Uranus was first seen by William Herschel in 1781 during a survey of the sky using a telescope. Uranus rolls like a barrel rather than spinning like Earth and the other planets in our solar system, and this is because it is tilted, so severely tilted on its axis. So if it were standing up like the other planets do, it would look like it was rotating. But because it is so severely tilted, it looks more like it is rolling on its axis. It is the coldest planet in the solar system. It is one of the gas giants, the four outer planets, which are entirely composed of gas. Those four planets are what? Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. You got it. Uranus is the smallest of the four gas giants, but it is still several times larger than the Earth, which is the largest of the four rocky inner planets. Uranus's atmosphere is mostly hydrogen, but it also contains large amounts of a gas called methane. Methane absorbs red light and it scatters blue light so that a blue green methane haze hides the interior of that planet from view. Let's go ahead and take some notes in our interactive notebook on Neptune. Let me find my pen. Make sure I'm on the right page. We're going to put our heading, your name, the date. Today's date is 1/22/21, and the lesson. Remember, each of the days this week we had 2 lessons because we did 2 planets. The first planet we're going to do today is Uranus. It's spelled Ur, an, us. Pretty easy to spell, Uranus. Okay, first bullet point. Which one of the planets is it? Is it a rocky inner planet or a gas giant? Gas giant. That's the first thing you're going to write. Gas giant. Say it. Gas giant. Say it as you're writing it down. We probably don't need to say this so many times. It's pretty simple. Gas giant. Second bullet point. Atmosphere made of hydrogen and helium. Say it. Atmosphere made of hydrogen and helium. I don't think that's right. I thought there was methane gas. Oh, mostly hydrogen and helium, and some small amounts of methane. Okay, so let's go ahead and write that down. Atmosphere made of hydrogen and helium. Say it. Atmosphere made of hydrogen and helium. Say it. Atmosphere made of hydrogen and helium. Say it as you're writing it down. Atmosphere. I spelled it wrong. Made of. Now remember hydrogen. The chemical symbol for hydrogen is H. And helium, the chemical symbol for helium is uppercase H and a lowercase e. Discovered with telescope in 1781. Say it. Discovered with telescope in 1781. Say it. Discovered with telescope in 1781. Say it as you're writing it down. Discovered with telescope, telescope, in 1781. Next bullet point. Axis is tilted. Say it. Axis is tilted. Say it. Axis is tilted. Say it as you're writing it down. Axis is tilted. So that is what makes it look like it's rolling like a barrel instead of spinning like a top. Methane gas in the atmosphere makes it look bluish green. Say it. Methane gas in the atmosphere makes it look bluish green. Say it. Methane gas in the atmosphere makes it look bluish green. Say it as you're writing it down. Methane gas in the atmosphere makes it look bluish green. And the way you spell bluish is we are adding a vowel suffix to the word blue, which is B-L-U-E. So we are going to drop the final silent E and add the vowel suffix ish. So bluish green. Next bullet point. At least 13 rings. Say it. At least 13 rings. Say it. At least 13 rings. Say it as you're writing it down. At least 13 rings. And finally, space probe Voyager 2 helped discover 11 moons. Say it. Space probe Voyager 2 helped discover 11 moons. Say it. Space probe Voyager 2 helped discover 11 moons. Say it as you're writing it down. Space probe Voyager, and that's going to be an uppercase V because it is a proper noun. It's the name of it. Voyager. Voyager 2 helped discover 11 moons. All right. Now remember, if you are, I had to find my sheet. If you have printed this sheet out, you will use another one of these little forms. If you are just writing it in your book, go ahead and write along with me. The first thing that we're going to write is the diameter. Remember, that is spelled the diameter. Diameter. The diameter of Uranus is 31,763 miles. 31,763 miles. And as far as kilometers, that is 51,118 kilometers. 51,118 kilometers. The next thing that we're going to write is the surface. You know how to spell that, sir, using the of hurt, and face, surface. The surface of Uranus, it's one of the gas giants. So what do you think the surface of the planet is like? It's gas or gases, just like the other gas giants. And how many moons does Uranus have? Well, according to our reading, it has 27 moons. 27 moons. The length of day, I wonder how fast it's spinning. Let's look and see. 1 day on Uranus is 17 Earth hours and 14 minutes. So it spins slower than the Earth, faster than the Earth does. So 17 Earth hours. Remember, Earth is uppercase because it is a proper noun. And then an additional 14 minutes. 17 Earth hours, 14 minutes. And finally, we want to know the length of the year. Now, remember, the length of a year is the amount of time that it takes a planet to orbit the sun. To orbit the sun. So to go all the way around the sun. To revolve around the sun. That is the length of the year. Uranus is way out here. The Earth is way over there. So it's going to take much longer. It takes Uranus 84 Earth years to orbit the sun. 84 Earth years. Okay, I have left a spot at the bottom where I'm going to draw my picture later because it's just easier for me to do that. I don't want you guys to sit here and wait while I'm drawing the picture. This is what your notes should look like. If you need to pause the video so that you can make sure that you have all the notes that you want, go ahead and do that. Otherwise, keep the video running. The next, we're going to turn to a new page because remember, we're drawing a picture of each planet at the bottom of that particular planet. So the next page we're creating is going to be for Neptune. We are going to write our name. We're going to do the heading like we always do. And the date. Today's date is 1/22/21. And then the lesson. This lesson is the second lesson of the day. And the lesson is Neptune. And that's spelled Neptune. Using A-U-U-U. Neptune. All right, where's my paper? Here we go. Let's read about Neptune. Neptune is the farthest planet from the sun. It is sometimes called Uranus's twin planet. It is about the same size as Uranus, and it is made of similar gases. If we look at these two planets, Uranus and Neptune, we can see that they are very similar in size. Strong winds blow all of the gas giant planets. However, Neptune's winds are the fastest. They can blow at speeds of about 2,000 kilometers, which is about 12,000 miles an hour. 12,000 miles an hour. That is way stronger than any hurricane. Neptune has at least 5 rings, and it also has at least 13 moons. Let me find my other paperwork here. More information about Neptune. Neptune is named after the Roman god of the sea, and his name is what? Neptune. You got it. It is the 8th planet, or the last planet in our solar system. It is the farthest planet from the sun in our solar system. It has 13 moons. Neptune is one of the 4 gas giants. Just like Jupiter, Saturn, and Uranus, it is composed only of gas. Neptune is a great ball of hydrogen and helium. Those planets, the gas giants, are composed mostly of hydrogen and helium. In the same year that Neptune was first seen, in 1846, its first moon was spotted and named Triton. Triton is the most unusual moon since it orbits Neptune in the opposite direction of Neptune's own rotation on its axis. All the other major satellites in the solar system, remember satellites is a fancy name for moons. All the other moons in the solar system follow their planets around as they turn. Neptune is a large water planet with blue hydrogen methane atmosphere and faint rings. Neptune suffers the most violent weather in our entire solar system. Storms have been spotted swirling about 10 times faster than hurricanes at the windiest planet in the entire solar system. Okay, let's go ahead and take some notes on Neptune, the windiest planet in the solar system. Okay, what kind of a planet is Neptune? Is it a gas giant or a rocky inner planet? A gas giant. Very good. Gas giant. That's our first bullet point. The atmosphere, what do you think the atmosphere is made of? Like all of the gas giants, it is made of what? Yes, hydrogen and helium. That's what we're writing next. Atmosphere is made of hydrogen and helium. Go ahead and write that down. Atmosphere, atmosphere, is made of hydrogen. Remember, we abbreviate that with, the chemical symbol for hydrogen is an uppercase H. Hydrogen and helium. The chemical symbol for helium is an uppercase H followed by a lowercase e. It is farthest from the sun. Say it. Farthest from the sun. Say it. Farthest from the sun. Say it as you're writing it down. Farthest. That's spelled far, est, farthest from the sun. From the sun. Uranus's twin. Same size. Say it. Uranus's twin. Same size. Say it. Uranus's twin. Same size. Say it as you're writing it down. Uranus's twin. And then we're going to put a dash. Same size. Okay, what did we learn about the winds on Neptune? Of all of the planets, it has the fastest winds. Fastest winds blow at speeds of 1,200 miles per hour. Say it. Fastest winds blow at 1,200 blow at speeds of 1,200 miles per hour. Say it. Fastest winds blow at speeds of 1,200 miles per hour. And you can abbreviate miles per hour as mph. Let's go ahead and write it down. Fastest winds. And then I'm going to put another dash. Blow at speeds of 1,200 or 1,200 mph. That means miles per hour. At least 5 rings. Say it. At least 5 rings. Say it. At least 5 rings. Say it. Write it down. At least 5 rings. Okay, now you are ready to use the last of your papers. If you are using these, you're ready to use the last one. If you are just writing it down as we go in your interactive notebook instead of filling it out and gluing it, that's absolutely fine. We're going to start with diameter, like we did with every other one of the planets. Diameter. The diameter of Neptune is 30,775 miles. 30,775 miles. Now, how many kilometers is that? 49,528 kilometers. 49,528 kilometers. After that, we're going to talk about the surface like we did with every other planet. Surface. We already know the answer to this. What's on the surface of this planet? Gas. That's right. Gases. Moons. Do you remember how many moons Neptune had? 13. Very good. Neptune has 13 moons. They have many moons compared to the rocky inner planets, which have few or no moons. After moons, we're going to do length of the day. Find out how fast this baby's spinning on its axis. 16 Earth hours. 16 Earth. Remember, Earth is going to be uppercase because it's a proper noun. Hours. And then finally, we're going to put the length of the year. Now remember, Neptune is a long way from the sun. A long way from the sun. It is the farthest planet from the sun. And we learned that Uranus takes 84 Earth years to orbit the sun. Neptune is much farther away. This is not very descriptive, but I did run out of space. So I had to kind of squish my planets in here. So Neptune takes, the length of its year is 164.8 Earth years. 164.8. So almost 165 Earth years. That is a long time to orbit the sun. Most of us don't live that long. Actually, I don't know anybody who's lived that long. Now you're going to go ahead and draw a picture of Neptune on the bottom and color it. If you need to pause the video to look at the notes, that's fine with me. If you do not need to pause the video, then that's fine with me as well. We have one more, where is it? One more paper that you are going to complete. Oh, here it is. You can do this on your own because we have been talking about them over and over and over. This paper is what you will see in your Bright Thinker. Go ahead and print it out. Unfortunately, you do have to print this one out. I don't often make you print things out, but you will need to print this out today. And then you are going to fill it in. You are going to look The center of this is the sun. These rings are, or the orbit, it's the orbit of the planet. So what you're going to do is you're going to look and say, okay, the planet that is closest to the sun, so the one that has the orbit that's closest to the sun, that would be Mercury. So I'm going to write Mercury in this line right here. And then you're going to go ahead and look for the next orbit. Okay, that one's way out here. You're going to write that there. Then the third ring tells you the third planet that's orbiting the sun. The fourth ring tells you the fourth planet that's orbiting the sun. The fifth ring tells you the fifth planet, and you're just going to have to follow them out so that you label them properly. When you're finished with this, go ahead and submit it for a grade. And I believe that is all that we have for this week for the planets. You guys have a great week, and I will be back next week for some more astronomy. Bye-bye.